Okay, Aeson people, we're gonna be doing in this video. You'll be able to tell by the title, a quick Aeson get to know the flight kit that we will be using. So, as you know, all the Aeson planes come at the moment with the Aeson V2 kit, as known as Aeria V2. Some of you have flown the Aeria V1, and obviously you know that kit was very close to CM32. That kit was actually made from scratch within a week, hence why it didn't last more than 4 months. So this is our pioneering kit as well, and this is the most realistic, I believe, at the moment in rare aviation. Um, it really simulates pretty much physics very well, and we've tuned this specific model to or close to the flight factor 350, A350, and it does come with, as you know, very nice sounds, whatever, and realistic suspension. Anywho, quite simply, what I want to get today is to try and give these people that will be flying these planes a bit of a kick boost, because obviously a Yeeson planes is for some of you have been a bit more challenging because you're used to these SFS kits, and this is a video I didn't exactly want to make because it's kind of like teaching people how to fly who already fly. The only problem they're having is they've flown kits that aren't so um, well done, and now they're struggling with a proper kit. But anyway, we should clear up a few of the big issues. So anyway, first thing I'm going to do, which I should have done before the video, is to tug our vehicle out. So this is going to get a bit tricky because I need to, oh my days, and I'm flying, actually. I'm flying. Alrighty. Oops, and I didn't see that was happening. Okay. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna put some power there, because I really want to get that lined up. Okay. Really want to get that lined up there very nicely. Obviously, the lineup isn't the best, so we gotta, oops. Interesting. It just ignores my brakes. Perfect. It's interesting. Ignoring the brakes. This gets a little bit hard to get used to. It takes a bit of time to get used to. My apologies. I really hate this part, especially if you're in tight corners, like where this A350 is. So I put it into park because I didn't know. There we go. That is perfect. I don't know why this feels like it's not got any brakes anymore. I have to check that out. Here we go. Obviously this isn't lined up properly, but that should be fine. Just make sure you line your plane up properly next time. Alright, so we're on the A350 power. It's time to get this thing moved. Oopsie. I really hate this. our gear must be stuck here. Yep, our gear must be stuck here. It's having a little fit with our thing. It's not exactly what I wanted today. Fun. I'm gonna try and drag it forward. Okay, it's definitely having a fit. Oh well, we can take it from here. Yeah, this is definitely broken. Tagita is very stupid at times. We'll just have to leave it her today. For today. Something's wrong with Tagita. I made actually a recent change. I'm assuming that's the issue. I need to quickly move Tagita away anyway. Okay. Funny enough, it's really not working out, which is a bit annoying. Alrighty. It's clearly something we'll have to fix there. Now let's get into the actual flying part of this after Tagita's little mess up. She should be done properly without that much issues by Friday, hopefully. So let's get in here. The first thing you want to do as a pilot is to check your controls. I'm not going to explain the basic ones, but I'm going to explain pretty much some controls that you're not used to or you haven't known. So the first control is the front gear tidal. Now for you people that call yourself pilots, you should know that the tidal on a plane is the way you steer the front gear, is how you turn. And pretty much this is controlled by, on this A350, this version of the Aeria kit is controlled by the arrow keys. So as you can see, if you can see the front gears turning there, and if I press down key, it will straighten it very quickly. That's good for very quick turns. And as you can see there again, I've turned it here, and it's gone straight. Rudder on this kit is key 1, key 2 and key 3, which are your numbered keys, not your numpad. Now on the A380 we use numpad for both of those, so make sure if you're going to fly the A380 you have numpad. A very good computer will have numpad, very bad ones will not. We have the different cam modes, so as you can see, this is the flight cam, and what the flight cam does is it will throw your camera back if it's in flight cam mode. If you press L, this will put it in free cam mode. If you're using mouse control and you use L in flight, it will turn off your mouse control, so you've got to turn L back on for you to be able to use mouse. You've got your input mode, which changes between keyboard and mouse. This obviously on ground, steering and rudder are, regardless of your input, always going to be these keys. So do not think when you switch your mode you're going to be able to steer on the ground with your mouse. No, you are locked with one button like you would be in a real plane, which is these. Okay, same for the rudder. So then we get straight to the actual moving part. I like keyboard modes generally. It's just a good one for me, and I'm gonna put this up. Different camera modes, obviously. I do use cockpit when I need to. I do like this mode as well, but preferably the mode I usually use for taxi will either be this mode or this mode. Okay, so anyway, let's get moving. Cool, cool. So when taxiing, if you're using an aircraft, you should know that 4% is actually your minimum throttle. Um, Although you can obviously go to 0%, generally, if you really want to be ultra realistic, I'd say stay at 4%. When you're taxiing, you should never go over 25% throttle. If you're gonna make a turn, you make the turn gradually. So as you can see, I'm coming off for this turn, and I'm just gonna gently turn in. I ain't going full tidal. What's the point? You don't need full tidal. A few people make the mistake of going full tidal when they do not need to. In real life, you're not going to go straight into a turn on full steering. It's just stupid, and you need more power. You should never be going past 30% on a taxi. Never. It's really just stupidity if you do this. And if it was real life, you'd use a lot of fuel. That's why they do not use that much throttle. When you line up, obviously, put the brakes down. Some people have figured out a cheat method, which isn't really a cheat, is to use the park brakes to build up power and then release. Now they do this in real world, and there's nothing really wrong about it, except when you're doing that, you must not do what everyone does. In real world, you're not allowed, there's an Airbus system and even on Boeing, you're not allowed to go from 0 or idle, N1, and N1 is the percentage, the RPM of the turbine. You're not allowed to go from idle N1 to toga N1 without build up. And what build up is pilots will usually go up to 20% throttle, and once past a certain speed, say 45 knots for the A380, then you can enable toga or flex. So you must make sure, obviously, you're aware of the controls before takeoff. You have chosen, the right mode, so keyboard mode for me. Locked your cam if you need to. Chosen whatever camera you want if you need to. Make sure that you are somewhat lined up. Obviously, I'm not lined up here, so you gotta bear in mind that because I'm not lined up, I'm going to be turning. So let's try and line this up without going too far. Okay, that looks kind of okay. Alright, well, we're ready for the takeoff phase. Straight to 30% first. When I get to 45 knots, I can then go up to flex mode. Over here's your log. It's very essential for telling what you've done with the plane, in case you're thinking of what's going on with your plane. Okay, so once we reach V1, we will take off. Now obviously we are on flex mode, so it will take longer to take off than normal.
V1.
Now that we've reached flex mode, we can push up this throttle, push up the wing, away we go. Gears up.
40.
Okay. When you're climbing out of an airport, you gotta make sure that you do not exceed 25 feet until you've reached 220 knots, okay? So sure obviously you reach 220 knots before you start climbing to the 3000 max climb speed that an A350 will usually do. On an usual day it's 2,500 feet, but the maximum is 3,000. So as you can see, I'm calmly flying with this plane. I've now reached 220 knots. You can now proceed to, well, okay, I've gone a bit too high. You can now proceed to 3,000. You'll notice that obviously you climb a lot more faster, which is exactly how it would be in a plane. So we are climbing now about cruise. We're aiming to get to at least 4,000 feet. We're going to fly over the airport and then we're going to come in and show you how to land. Obviously, whilst everything is going on, you might decide to have a look at your wing and have a look at what you're flying over. This is very amazing tool to use. Even if you're not looking, you can at least tell what your plane is doing 2D wise and make correct adjustments based on your speed and this, even if you're not actually focused. And it's really amazing. So obviously that's our view there. That's a little airport there. Takeoff. Fiolina. Alrighty. Now we're going to make a turn. So we want to fly over these houses. Okay. So the turn is being done. We're going to fly over these houses and come in for landing. So before you come in for any landing thing whatsoever, you must make sure, before any landing, you must make sure that you've got a location on the airport you want to come into. And after this, you must then make sure that you're taking a clean heading, because this plane is really not forgiving if you make too much mistakes. In real world, you don't have a lot of corrections you got to do before you got to go around. So where you may have that chance with arcade kits, you just don't have it. There's too many forces at play here with this kit for that to happen. So as you can see, I'm taking a nice turn now because I really want to go over the houses. When I get over the houses, then I'm going to do what looks like a kite, a sort of kite turn, and then should be lined up if lucky. Well, if done well, should be lined up with the runway in preparation for a nice landing. I forgot to say also, when you're going into climb speed, when you've taken off, you must go to climb thrust. And climb thrust is anywhere between 85% and 90%. Okay? And that's usually, at least once you've reached 900 feet, is where you can reduce to climb thrust. Or if you really want to play safe, reduce at 2,000 feet. But either way, as you're climbing, you must have reduced the throttle, at least before cruise. So we're flying over these houses now. Our runway is there, so we're going to line up and start descending. When I'm coming in for descent, obviously I love to use keyboard mode again, but this time I'm going to switch into mouse mode. Okay, press my L, which will free my cam. G to drop the gear. So as you can see, we're seeing the runaway. We're going to quickly lower our throttle, our altitude. Grab us 60%. Now, in this scenario, you can see we're not lined up we can use the
Speed,
rudder,
speed,
and obviously
speed,
there'll be a warning
speed,
when you use the
speed.
rudder to tell you what you're doing. So we can use the rudder, come in nice and gently, and coming in just a bit. Obviously you're going to need to, now when you're doing this, you need a really nice approach. This isn't the best approach, but it should get me very nice
Minimum
and tightly
100 above,
onto the runway.
100, 50,
Gentle there as
40,
well. That's all I
30,
need. That is
20.
all I need. She's down. Okay. Oopsie. Oh dear. Now obviously you're not going to do that. You're not going to have that type of a landing, hopefully. But yeah, you come down smoothly like this, and use rudder control to keep yourself on the runway. No one's going to hate you unless you come off the runway, so make sure you stay on the runway, get a better approach than what I just did, and you know what you should do, unless you're stunting, is really get the wheels down as soon as you can, but gently. Once you do that and you slow down to around 80 knots, then you have tidal control. You can control steering instead of using the rudder. But the rudder is really good above 80 knots. So anyway, that's really it. Hope you've learned something, and the same principles will be, of what I've shown, will be the same for all upcoming and decent planes. The A380 already, that's out. Same way to fly. Practice, 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 and I can't wait to be on some of your flights. Thanks, and see you later.